All right, this is Today with John and Helen live, and you're watching us from Plus TV Africa. We are on DSTV channel 408 and Star Times 308. The Christmas frenzy has kicked in, and I'm beginning to wonder, with all the financial pressure that we've gone through this year. You know, we're beginning to refer to 2023 as if it's gone.
In the
We're still in
past.
2023, and I will be able to have all of the threes and the frills of Christmas as we always do. That's our
Huge,
prayer.
huge question, Helen. Huge. And as we inch closer and closer to Christmas, things are beginning to move at such an unbelievable pace. It's frightening. We will be having our guest on the show, and I'm really so excited about it. Guest should be talking about how much impact African spices have had around the world. Our guest is here with us, and she's waiting too. Yeah?
Yes, she is here, and our first guest is Chef Obehi Okhemu, owner and executive chef at Honor Lagos, an honor cloud who has helped shape the conversation around Nigerian food and Nigerian spirits while restoring pride and continuous growth for the local farmers and artisans. Obehi has been a panel judge in several local and global food competitions such as the Kitchen Nigeria, the world's 50 best restaurants, and was featured in this year's BBC's Africa Renaissance series by Afua Hirsch and Ebony magazine, amongst many others. She was raised between the US, Nigeria, and South Africa, picking up a diverse range of culinary influences along the way. And that's why she's here on the show today. John, take it over.
Yes, and I must add that she graduated from South Africa's top culinary school after obtaining a business management and international business degree from the Ella College of Management at the University of Arizona. And since returning to Nigeria in 2016, she has successfully built a high, reputable brand in the food and beverage industry.
Awesome.
Huge.
Awesome, huge. So now, Chief Obehi,
Chef.
Chef Obehi, welcome to the show. We call it Today with John and Helen Live, and it's a family, lifestyle, impactful show that we have once every week. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you're looking like, what are these people talking about here? Kind of. I like your chef outing. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
John?
Yeah, well, before we fire our questions, Obey, Chef Obey.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Can I just say Obey?
Obehi sounds good.
Obey sounds good. So tell us, what in the world inspired you to take such a rare interest in flavors and spices?
I believe in the layering of indigenous ingredients. I believe in using ancestral techniques. So
Ancestral techniques.
yes, so age old. So fermentation, drying, salting. So in Nigeria, we actually have a lot of that we actually do, but we don't talk enough about it. For example, the iru, the salted fish. We have our fermented rice, which is our ofada.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we do to preserve food. So when I say ancestral, I'm talking more about how did we, back in the day, preserve food and increase the flavor, like amplify flavors, right? So at Ona, which is my restaurant, Ona Lagos, we actually focus a lot on how to like marry tradition and innovation, right?
Tradition and innovation.
Yes.
Okay, and it gives, of course, you are all about the flavor
Yes.
and also the benefits,
Yes.
you know, of the food that we eat. Now, how would you describe the African flavor? The Indians have theirs, the Arabs have theirs, and so on. So what's ours?
So the thing is, I will start by defining flavor, right? Flavor is basically a combination of taste, which is like the saltiness, the sweetness, sourness, bitterness, piquancy, umami, what the taste buds can feel, right? And then there is aroma. So we actually take, flavor is not just taste buds, it's actually what you smell. For example, I can cook and I can smell when food is done, when it's ready, right? You can actually smell the salinity, you can smell a lot of things. You can pick up flavors and different parts of food if you actually attune your senses to these things, right? And then there is mouthfeel. You put something in your mouth, how does it coat your mouth? How does it feel? The butteriness, like how does it feel? Like how does your body, how does your mouth, taking that feeling? And then there's the X factor, which is basically emotion, right? I would say that food is very emotional. For example, I'm sure you would say that, let's say, for example, my mom's banga is the best banga I've ever had,
Okay.
right? It's emotional. It's about how you feel. It's about, um, um, yeah, just, I mean, I feel like the heart tastes as much as the tongue tastes, you know.
Okay.
So,
So the African flavor takes care of all of that.
the African flavor
smell.
has a lot of that. It has, I believe the African flavor is bold heat, umami. Um, we have that like nice saltiness. We have also, there is also a way in which we do, like the smell, the palm oil. There's something about what we do that is just fantastic.
I
The
like-
mama put
Right,
thing,
yes.
the
Yes,
homemade
yes, yes,
thing.
yes.
I like the aspect of the sentiments behind
Yes,
the
there's a lot of sentiment.
behind the spices, and
Yes.
that's really true. Come to
Yes.
think of it. Now, now that we have witnessed an upsurge in exporting our Nigerianness to the world, I have a question for you on that as it affects our flavors and our spices. Now, when you say positioning African flavors in the global cuisine, do we mean creating actual products like spices, a curated food experience, or both?
I believe it has to be a double-edged sword. It has to be both. It has to be a two-pronged approach, right?
Okay.
So at Ona, for example, we are very big on creating flavors that are uniquely Ona. So that's the culinary creations I was trying to explain about earlier. So we, for example, we have a chili sauce that we basically create that is, we mix a few African chilies, Nigerian chilies with African chilies, and we ferment it for 7 days. So it ages. It ages beautifully, and it's not too spicy. It doesn't burn. The bold heat I talk about, it doesn't burn like your tongue in front.
palate,
It
yeah.
like just literally like coats, and it's like it enhances the flavors of the cuisine. So I believe that, for example, you take that chili, for example, and take a few other things that I feel like we need to actually how do I put this, harness in our ingredients. So what we do is we take an ingredient, right, and we try to find out the best way to pay it the full respect to that particular ingredient. So every ingredient has the respect that it's paid to it. So culinary creations is definitely important, but also the experience is also very important. I believe there has to be a warmth, like you're eating African food. For example, dining at Ona, there's the lighting, the ambience. It's all we're using clay plates. It has to be this beautiful warmth, like you're dining in Africa. There is a beautiful majesticness of it all, you know. So it's,
I'm beginning to feel like
I'm
I should be eating
salivating.
something from Ona right now.
I'm salivating already. Yeah.
Okay, at some point when we started this conversation, you mentioned something like we haven't or we are not talking enough about the African cuisine and the African flavor. So, in a summarized fashion, what is our penetration plan or your penetration plan for realizing this goal, the goal of having to talk more and getting people to know more about the African flavor?
I believe food is a very strong language. Food is a language of change, right? I believe we can use our African ingredients and our food here as a soft power, and it's also like a journey back to self, right? And also like understanding what it is that our forefathers have done, how they did it, why they did it. You understand? Penetration plan will most likely include having more of what we do, like having more very majestic Nigerian dining experiences where everything is thought out, the whole dining experience from walking into sitting down. And not just having it here in Africa, but having it, basically like globalize it.
Festivals, kind of.
That would be beautiful, of course. That would be definitely beautiful. We need to experience our culture in our own way, right?
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
This is beginning to sound like wine tasting for me. The way the way you've been able to pick the individual tastes of African blends, of spices, and it's so exciting. Now, what core resources are needed, to help African chefs, realize this goal? With respect to the human capital, the financial support, government partnership maybe, and other things.
I think definitely government needs to play a role in that because a lot of the young creatives today, they need support. They need support, they need amplification of their voices, of what they're trying to do. The society, I mean, the economy has gotten really difficult this year in particular.
Can't say that again.
Yes, and everyone feels it. But for creatives, it could be discouraging because, I mean, you can't create in survival mode. It's really difficult.
You can't create in survival.
Yes, you need to have a certain level of it's difficult. So definitely there needs to be support from government, from I guess like capital raise and all these other things. The festival you're talking about, maybe use that to also like help assist and garner resources.
Okay. For you being in this space, you should be able to tell us how we're doing, and when I mean how we're doing, I mean how are Africans across the globe, how are they faring with regards to opening up more opportunities, more restaurants, African-based restaurants in a lot more countries besides Nigeria, around the world. How well are we doing?
I believe we could do better. I feel like there's definitely room for change, but we're doing well right now. The conversation around African, especially West African food, is beautiful at the moment. Thanks to places like Ikoyi London, Eton here in Nigeria. There's a few other restaurants that are doing really well. Of course, Ona.
Nigerians travel abroad, and
Yeah.
really, when they come home, it's like they're famished. They've been deprived of
Yes.
the African
The
flavor
flavors,
and the
the flavors,
African
the experience,
food.
yeah.
So I'm like, what happens to all of the places you live out there? Don't you have enough of that?
It goes back to the emotional thing, right? It's what you've been raised on. There's a nostalgia. You've been raised on African cuisine. You go anywhere else, you're longing for it.
Yeah.
Just like Koreans, just like Chinese, just like anybody else in the world. They're longing for their nostalgia, for their childhood experiences. So I would say that we are doing a good job, but definitely there needs to be a bit more promotion, even like what you said earlier, like by government and whatnot. We need to have more restaurants. We need to have more food festivals that are, but it would take time. But the conversation is looking good, I would say. It's looking
The
good.
conversation is looking good, and the competition is also looking good. I'm making reference to the Jollof war between Nigeria and Ghana.
Ghana.
But what it says to me, actually, is that jollof rice in Ghana would taste different from jollof rice in Nigeria, even different parts of Nigeria, because of the way we have picked our
Ingredients.
ingredients.
The terroir, a lot of things.
What do you have to say about that?
I love both.
Honestly,
Honestly,
is
I
the
love.
war healthy?
The war is healthy because I do believe that it shows passion. It
Yes.
shows passion for your food, and it makes the world actually look and focus that, what are they talking about? I want to taste this. I want to know more about this. It helps, it boosts the conversation. Yes.
Okay, I haven't had the taste of the Ghanaian jollof
The
rice.
shito makes it really good. Yeah.
Okay, so as we get ready to wind up this conversation, would you say that this competition and awareness creation and all of it, does it help in promoting and penetrating the flavors and African cuisine globally? And what more needs to be done?
I think we need to also, as individuals, look at our cuisine from a different angle. I believe that it's almost like with the sea finish, which it shouldn't be, right? It's something where we need to also not think about our cuisine as it's only at home that we'll pay this amount. We should see that our cuisine can actually be put on an international fine dining stage
Especially
and
with
do.
social media buzz. I mean.
Yes.
A lot of people are now having all kinds of restaurants online.
Mm.
You don't need the space anymore.
No, ghost kitchens work too. Yeah, I think it's just the mindset. We need to understand that our food is fantastic, and it's. I mean, what we do, we take the underdogs of the African kitchen and we elevate it to stardom.
Yeah.
So we need to also see that our food is fantastic, and we need to not. Yeah, it's also we need to see that we're way more than meets the eye. And it's funny because it's actually Asians and other cultures that see our ingredients and like, what? It's amazing, you know. But our ingredients are amazing, and we need to see it for what it is, so we can actually elevate it, and you know. So it starts with also self.
Yeah.
I think it starts with self.
For me, what's left is just an invitation from Chef Obehi
To go to
honor.
see you.
So, do I have an invitation?
Of course, sure.
You know, they say that food is what you eat is who you are. Yeah, food. So it's not about the flavor alone, but about the health benefits. You know, it's what kind of food you eat that keeps you alive or leads you closer to, the other end. Quickly, in a minute, talk to me about the health value of the African cuisine and its flavor.
Oh, I believe it's deeply healthy. Our cuisine is we're actually we're very afraid of jadi jadi and a lot of sickness. But I feel like our food is very. I mean, think about bitter leaf, for example.
Ices and all.
Think about there's so many things in our cuisine that's we have most of our soups are green leafy, soups. We are very big on healthy diet. Although the palm oil does come into play, but then palm oil actually is quite healthy. I would argue that, because I know a lot of people like talk crap about palm oil, but it's really healthy. It's not like regular vegetable oil and whatnot, but it does heal. Maybe not cooked over a long time, because when it's cooked over a long time, it does lose a lot of
And
the
not a lot of
lot of the nutrients. Not a lot of it also, of course. So maybe less of it, more like water based, But yeah, our cuisine is quite good, and I think it's quite healthy. It just depends on like less swallow.
Okay. You want to give Nigeria
That's
less
filler.
money.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that's another level, for another conversation.
For another conversation.
But right about now, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much. In the past, when they say chef, we're looking at, those Oyibo people with long cap. So the chefs are coming closer to us now, and we feel good about that. Thank you for
Thank you,
coming to the show this morning.
Well, shouldn't we just set up our cuisine corner?
Yes, so
Today is John
regular.
and Helen, and we have Chef Obehi with us, to tell people more about our flavors and our spices. So, thank you so much, Chef Obehi.
Thank you. Thank you,
for
Helen.
being
Thank
with
you,
us.
John.
Thank you. All right, so I'm sure we have asked her all the questions that you would have loved to ask. We hope, and she has obliged us. She's here, and you've heard all that you needed to hear about her special cuisine at Ona here in Nigeria, and a lot more African and Nigerian-based restaurants and cuisines across the world. If you haven't been trying anything special, I think you should from this point. We'll take a very quick break just to get us ready and you ready to meet our second guest. It's today with John and Helen live to go with.